Hi, my name is Cami Floyd, and I'm going to be talking about NextEra Energy. This is a team presentation for Team 2, who involves Cami Floyd, myself, Fernanda Torres, Cassandra Vickery, and Anthony Sestero. NextEra Energy is a Fortune 200 company. It started in 1925 in Florida by Florida Power and Light. They built their first nuclear power plant here in Florida. They currently generate power from 8 different nuclear power plants in Florida, New Hampshire, Iowa, and Wisconsin. NextEra's leadership believes in their core values. They're committed to excellence, treating people with respect, and doing the right thing. They want to grow to be the world's leader in renewable energy and build the best skills and capabilities in the industry as a whole. Cassandra, why don't you tell us more?
Thank you, Cami. So hi guys, I'm Cassandra Vickery. Today I'm going to be talking to you a little bit about NextEra Energy and their external factors. NextEra Energy is a leading clean energy company that operates in Florida. Florida Power and Light and Gulf Power make up NextEra Energy. It also owns a competitive energy business known as NextEra Energy Resources. It is a world leader in electricity generated from the wind and the sun. This being said, NextEra Energy is focused on long-term sustainability. They invest in creating facilities in responsible manners to leave the smallest ecological footprint as possible. They have many capabilities, including a diversified high-quality portfolio, high financial strength, a tax-advantaged structure, and many opportunities for growth. NextEra Energy is constantly reinvesting their money into their company for better returns. They're expected to benefit in the significant wind and solar growth that is projected in the near future. NextEra Energy is one of the largest electric and power companies in North America. It is also a leader in renewable energy. It has 2 utilities in Florida, Florida Power and Light and Gulf Power, and it also owns the competitive business NextEra Energy Resources. It has been in business since 1925, as Cami noted earlier, and they operate within the state of Florida. They focus on wind, solar, energy storage, and wind repowering. In addition, the company also is investing in distributed generation and battery storage to stay ahead of the curve of the new technologies in the renewable space. They have a track record of innovation and excellent developmental skills. When looking at the attractiveness of the industry, it is very versatile and difficult to enter. This is because you need high capital. There are many state and federal laws that bring complications when entering into an industry like this, and the industry of energy needs to focus on clean energy. And this is one thing that Florida Power and Light does very well. If somebody tried to come in, a rivalry, a competitor, it would be very hard for them to succeed. They also have no really substitute. There's not really a threat that, we could just come up with a new way to get power unless environment which they operate in. They must assess which ways are most effective and efficient in generating and distributing energy in a manner leaving the smallest ecological footprint. This company has been noted to do more than any other company in addressing CO2 emissions alone. Their new goal is to lower carbon dioxide emissions from 2005 to 2025 by 67%. If all utility companies nationwide did this by 2025, the same as NextEra Energy, the CO2 emissions for the power sector would be 75% lower.
Thank you, Anthony, for all that information. Based on your analysis, we believe that NextEra Energy should pursue the following alternatives: hydroelectric opportunities and environmental support. NextEra Energy should consider their hydroelectric opportunities. Power plants are dangerous. They already have 8 of them, and they're already looking into solar power and other opportunities for electric power. Hydroelectric is a different opportunity that they don't dwell into at this point. They can travel worldwide and offer opportunities that they don't have locally, and they can provide the world with a safe, clean power source. To implement this, they should hire a team of experts to evaluate their new possibilities in hydroelectric powers. Look for new places to implement their plan and start small, grow as they become successful. NextEra Energy wishes to grow as the world leader in renewable energy. They should spend their time and resources focusing on this and don't build additional nuclear power plants. In addition to simply stopping, they should concentrate on enhancing the current nuclear power plants in regards to their safety and environmental hazards. They should place a team of experienced personnel together to evaluate the impacts of their current nuclear power plants. They should also evaluate the procedures that are their safety procedures already in place and implement new safety procedures at these current plants. After the evaluation, they need to adjust their policies, provide incentives to all employees who contribute to their safety. This implementation can be done immediately.
My name is Anthony Sestero, and I'm doing the NextEra Energy analysis. Major company issues. Negative environmental impact. It is never easy to eliminate or lessen CO2 emissions which come from a power plant. Generating energy does continue to have a negative impact on the environment. A roadblock for NextEra is the continuous battle with environmental policies. Location is everything, as this company is in need in order to break ground and have a house power plant facility. There's only so much space left in America to add more sites for these large power plants. The presence of lobbyists and other political groups are aimed towards putting an end to the loss of more land. The environment has already taken enough damage from emissions. The outside force of regulations against wildlife protected areas is unavoidable for NextEra. Additionally, although they are an industry leader, they still have a low profitability level. Number 2, the future of solar and wind. Innovation in technology is always costly, which is why it's no surprise that solar energy ranks among the most expensive ventures. Sure, over the long term, price of energy will decrease as it is being used naturally. However, the goal of NextEra is initially to sell the solar products and get others on board. There is a conscious thought that these forms of alternative energies are beneficial, yet it's important to ensure that the customer is willing to pay for these fees that come with this. Additionally, keep in mind how large these panels are at NextEra. With plans on expanding into this industry, we'll have to account for overhead costs of storage and manufacturing. It may be too early to tell, but a switch to fully wind or solar energy is still dependent on weather. They're not always going to be the most ideal windy and sunny days. Florida does encounter heavy downpour during the months of June and August. NextEra must understand that renewable energy is always reliable. Considering this company powers millions, they must evaluate and analyze what the strategy is for a full-scale renewable operation. Issue alternatives. It is evident that power plants are always going to inflict damage as they are under constant watch for these infractions. The state and the federal institutions that are in place to slow the progression of these power plants, there isn't much more need of expansion in more geographical locations. NextEra is already in 8 locations total. Therefore, they can hold back on breaking new ground and in the meantime find better ways to reduce emission from these power plants they already utilize. Limiting expansion can be a simple way to avoid any more policy interference with large environmental institutions. Limiting expansion and construction over wildlife areas can also help get the profit margins at a solid rate. Number 2, hydroelectric opportunities, opposed to the overhead costs of solar and wind. Water is considered an ideal renewable resource, able to be used over and over again in Florida. Additionally, there are already many invested into the market of solar and wind. Therefore, NextEra should take the initiative to reduce overhead costs and work with Florida's top renewable resource, which is water. Utilizing the Floridian rivers and dams, which are already in place, this provides a good foundation for the new start of hydroelectric power. While the other solar and wind options look promising, it is important that this company masters the backup option of hydro energy. For the rain months of the year, NextEra has the ability to power their clients in renewable ways. Although it's called the Sunshine State in Florida, it is home to rain, which NextEra can use to their advantage. Solar and wind energy account for more need of space. Florida is a peninsula which has water flowing through it already. Therefore, the renewable resource of water seems to be a better first step than immediately searching for areas to house these solar and wind plants. Value chain analysis. In our first box here, it shows firm infrastructure. 8 nuclear plants in total NextEra has: Florida, New Hampshire, Wisconsin, and Iowa. Service large geographical areas across the United States. Human resources management. Corporate level strategies to build best skills and capabilities. Reliable distribution network that invests greatly into the training and development of employees. Free cash flow for expansion, and stock purchase. Technology development, looking to capitalize in both the wind and solar industry, has already integrated various technology companies in research and development, notorious for spending the most amount of money on new technology development, especially for renewable energy. Procurement, Florida's leading energy provider, leader in the industry, and it's a great stock to own. Under primary activities, inbound logistics, high overhead cost, power plants, high cost for reach development. Operations, provide energy 24/7, regulate energy in 24 of 36 states. Outbound logistics, solar or wind equipment delivered to selected areas. Energy is allocated from the 8 power plants into the geographical area. Marketing, sales, cold calling, advertise to other companies in need of energy solutions. And service, billing and payment, non-renewable and renewable energy sources.
Hi, my name is Fernando, and I will be talking about NextEra Energy's internal assessment. To begin, I'll be talking about the financials. First, we have profit margin, 18.71%. ROA is 2.89%. ROE is 8.04%. Revenue for the whole company is about 17.85 billion. The EBIT is 9.21 billion. Total debt to equity is 108.37. Current ratio 0.52. Payout ratio comes to 68.21%. Operating margin 26.65%. And the operating cash flow the company has to work with is around 6.48 billion. NextEra Energy surrounds the company within 5 core competencies. The 5 main ones are ethics and compliance programs, corporate citizenship and responsibility, culture of ethics, governance, and leadership, innovation, and reputation. On the website, they say NextEra Energy is one of just 20 current honorees to be recognized 11 or more times, which speaks to the strong corporate culture of high ethical standards and integrity in business practices, said Atmosphere's Chief Executive Officer Timothy Erblich. We congratulate all 14,000 employees for their role in making NextEra Energy one of 2018's most ethical companies. Here are a few weaknesses and concerns NextEra Energy should have when moving forward to better their company. For one, profitability ratio and net contribution percent of NextEra are below the industry average. Organization structure is only compatible with present business models, thus limiting expansion. And adjacent product segments are used throughout the company. They also are compared to other organizations in the industry. Compared to other organizations in the industry, NextEra has a higher attribution and has to spend more. And lastly, a lot more compared to their competitors on the training and development of its employees.